Hey, I'm back, and today I thought I'd do a breakdown of the song Revrie. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Down below, there should be a link. And so the reason I want to do this is because when I was learning guitar and learning songwriting, nobody really did a breakdown of instrumental songs, so I thought I'd show you how I did this from beginning to end. So one of the first things I want to talk about is how I came up with the idea. Oftentimes I go around with my smartphone, and if I have an idea, I just sing it directly into there, and that's what I did with this. So I came up with a little melody like, I think it's da 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 da, and I put that in my phone, and then when I got home I figured out how to play it on guitar like this, I guess. But of course, that's not really a song, it's just a short melody. So let me tell you like how I developed that into a song. So one of the first things I needed was like variation. So I went through and I found some different variations, but before, like on top of the variations I need for it, another thing I need is chords. That's one of the most important things. So I figured out, okay, it's in the key of E major. So from E major, I need to figure out which chords go with which bar. So we'll start with the first bar here. So I need to find like the strong note, the note that's emphasized in there. And so the way to do that is look to see if a note is on a strong beat, like the 1 or the 3, or if the note is played over and over again or has a long duration. So in this one, this G sharp is played 3 times. So I think that's probably my emphasis note. Now I think, okay, what chords in E major use that? So in E major, we have a few different chords here, like E major, F minor, G sharp minor, A major, B major, C sharp minor, D diminished, and E major again. So off the top of my head, I think, okay, the first one I could use is C sharp minor. And that's not a bad choice, but there's another choice I could use, for example, E major. I decided to use E major because I wanted this to be more of a happy song. You could do a C sharp minor, and as you're doing this, you'll realize, there's more than one chord I can use. So definitely experiment and go through this yourself. But going to the next bar, next bar is, this one's held, so it's very easy. I know this is F sharp. There's a few I could use here. I could use this, the D sharp diminished, but that's not often used. I don't think it's gonna sound that good. But what does sound good is B major. So my first 2 chords are this. Next bar. So the held note is the E. So I can go back to E, so I can do. Or I can go to C sharp minor. I chose that one just because I thought it was a little bit more colorful, but as I said, you can do whatever you want. And then the last bar. So that one I went down to the C sharp, and same thing, I could do the C sharp again, but I don't want to play the same chord twice. But another one I could use is this A major. And although there's lots of different combinations I could use, I use this combination of chords because it's one of the 7 most common chord progressions I went over before in my other video. I call it the emotional girl chord progression. So there's thousands of songs that use this. It's a very common chord progression, so it's very familiar. I wasn't trying to really rock the boat with my harmony in this song, so I thought this would be a good one to use so I could really just focus on the melody. And so looking one more time to go over those important notes, it would be or G sharp, F sharp, E. And that's a way you can break down your melodies into like the most important tones so you can see how they're going. So oftentimes it's good if your melody goes down or goes up or kind of goes up in the middle and then goes down, etc. It's just an interesting way to analyze it, and it helps you come up with your harmony more easily, or at least it helps me. From there, I decided like I'm not gonna have a bunch of like background guitars and things like that, so I want to imply these chords with my main melody. So I took this first part and I thought, okay, it's E. Let me take this E note and play a double stop here. So like this. That, okay? And the next part, I go to actual E chord. And then to the B. Now here. So here I'm playing that C sharp minor, but I realized if I do this, it doesn't sound as good. What does sound better is if I use the B instead of, that sounds okay, but I like this. So this B isn't in C sharp minor, but if I change it to C sharp minor 7, there we go, that's what I want. And so I did that. And then last part is A. So I could have played the A here, but I decided to use this and then an open string, A and E, so the root and the fifth of A, just because I have the open strings, I'm in E, why not use it? So that's the main melody, and I do different variations on it. So like another time I do this. So it's the same thing, I'm playing the E, and then I play that because here's the B chord. So instead of, there. So I'm implying it there, but it's a little variation so it doesn't get so boring. Later I do like an arpeggiated part with the same chord progression. I just do this. And you can see that's just the same chord progression, like here, E, B, A, I'm sorry, E, and then it's C minor, and then same thing with A. And the only different part is I have that little, I guess, bridge or break where I go into C sharp minor. The reason I do this is because you have A major and the relative minor is C sharp minor. And so I use the same like intervallic and rhythmic ideas from the beginning. So in the beginning it's like E. And then for the minor part I do the opposite, just in C minor. And this is a basic minor chord progression, shows. Or I should say it's this. So that same thing, and it goes down to the A major. And at the very end, it's like this. So for that, I just changed this A major to an A minor. So that's a common modal interchange chord in E major. So 1, E major, 4, A major, and then A minor, and then back to E, which goes into the solo, which is the same chord progression again. So that's basically all I did for this song. I hope I explained it clearly. I might go over the melody stuff, how to derive harmony from melody sometime in the future. But that's how I came up with this, and I tried to use some of the same things for the different parts, connecting the melodies and harmonies, so everything would come together into a cohesive whole. I hope this helped you. One thing I want to do, another tip is, if you're like me, I know before what I would do is I'd have an idea for a song, like a melody or riff or something, and I would try it, and then I would just put it away, and then I would forget about it, or I'd like mix half a song and then forget about it. I recommend, if you have an idea or something, finish it. Even if it's a terrible song, it'll be worth it, because you learn something. Every time you write a song, if it's good or bad, you'll learn something and you'll become better, and I feel my songwriting and playing, etc., has gotten better from doing this. So try to finish it, and if it's terrible, just throw it away. Don't let anybody hear it. And I think that's much better. You'll learn how to get things done. So hopefully this gave you some insights on how to do this. In the future, I will make another video on the tone and the arrangement and the mixing for this song. So stay tuned for that. If you have any questions about this, something I didn't cover, leave that below. And until next time, see you.